Can I ask if I'm being detained, sir? Deal with what, sir? I got shunted into the lane by another vehicle. Being detained? Yeah. Why? For what? Under what section of law? Pardon? I didn't bob down a bus lane, I was shunted into it and came back into the normal lane. Am I being detained or can I get to a court?
No, you're stopping here now.
For what? I'm not sitting in the back of no vehicle. Are you arresting me? Then I'm not sitting in the back of any vehicle. Am I being detained, officer? I'm not obliged to talk to you. Am I being detained? For what? Can you tell me under what section of law, please? Can you tell me under what section of law, please? Pardon? I didn't go down the bus lane intentionally. I was shunted into the bus lane. And what am I being detained under what section of law? Under what section of law am I being detained by, sir? On what traffic act? What section of it? Which section of it?
I don't clear.
Well, I'm not talking to you until you're clear on what section you are.
If you drive off, it's failed to stop.
What? No, it isn't. I've stopped. I've stopped.
The officers state that James is being detained, but the interaction becomes contentious when no specific legal power appears to be clearly identified at that moment. From James's perspective, that immediately raises an important question. What authority is actually being relied upon? The request for James to sit in the back of a police vehicle during what appears to be a relatively minor traffic matter also becomes part of the disagreement. The concern being raised is whether that request was a practical step connected to managing the encounter or whether it appeared disproportionate to the circumstances being discussed. The interaction becomes more complicated when an officer refers generally to the Road Traffic Act while appearing uncertain about the exact provision being relied upon. In situations where powers are being exercised, people often expect a clear explanation of the legal basis for those actions, particularly when those actions involve restricting movement.
This is going on YouTube. You don't even know the law, mate. You do not even know the law. PC 580. You cannot arrest me for getting in my car. What under what section of law?
The Police and Criminal Evidence Act.
What's that?
The Police and Criminal Evidence
What
Act.
section?
If they're dealing with you.
For what? What crime?
I've
I've supplied my details. I've asked if I'm being detained, sir.
You're being detained. So
Under what section of law?
Look, you're being
PC 580. I'm not being silly. I've got law throughout my family. I'm asking you what section of law I'm being detained by. What are you charging me with?
We're going to deal with you for using a misuse of a bus lane.
Right, am I being detained right now?
You're being detained so we can...
Under which section of law am I being detained?
You're being detained so we can deal with by fixed penalty notification. If we cannot deal with by that means, we can arrest you under Section 24 of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act so we can deal with by that way.
What evidence?
What evidence? We saw you using a bus lane.
But I didn't intentionally use a bus lane.
Right, well you can say that to the magistrates, okay? If you want to supply my colleague with your details.
I saw you in the lane. Do you think I'm going to just drive past you on purpose?
People do that.
Well, I didn't do that.
You want to supply my colleague with the details?
I've supplied your colleague with my details.
The officer then refers to Section 24 of PACE as part of the justification for the arrest. James disputes that reasoning, arguing that one of the commonly discussed necessity factors, establishing a person's identity or address, does not appear to apply if those details have already been provided. This becomes a key point of disagreement in the interaction. From James's perspective, if identifying information had already been given, then the explanation being relied upon seems unclear or inconsistent with what had already taken place. The discussion also turns toward the relationship between arrest powers and a fixed penalty process. The concern being raised here is whether the use of arrest powers was genuinely necessary in the circumstances, or whether it appeared disproportionate to the matter being dealt with.
Unintentionally. But have you read the Road Traffic Act?
Yes.
If I intentionally fear or endangerment comes into my path on the road whilst driving, I can use a bus lane if a hazard is present. I am telling you there was a hazard present. Why are you being malicious against me? Yeah. Why are you being malicious against me, may I ask that?
There wasn't a hazard in the gap in front of me.
Did you see the hazard behind me?
Right, you're not...
Did you see the hazard that was present at my time of using a bus lane? No, I'm not being silly. I'm not being silly. Am I under caution? Am I being detained? If not, you can send a ticket to my home address. Thank you. Good day. I've just told you, I'm not being detained. I'm moving forwards with my day, all right? You can't stop me, sir. You are a public servant. Unless you are placing me under caution or placing me under arrest, you cannot... Get your hands off me. Listen, mate, get your hands off me. Get your hands off my booklet and get your hands off me. What are you doing? I'm not resisting arrest.
James argues that the Road Traffic Act allows for certain situations where entering a bus lane may be justified, such as avoiding hazards or obstructions. From his perspective, that explanation should at least be considered and assessed before moving further into enforcement action. The interaction then becomes more physical, with James describing the officer grabbing him and shutting the vehicle door. That moment becomes a major point of contention because it shifts the encounter from a discussion about a traffic matter into a dispute over the use of force and whether it was necessary or proportionate in the circumstances. James also questions whether a less intrusive option was available. His argument is that if officers believed a traffic offence had occurred, alternative enforcement routes might have existed that would not require escalating the encounter in the way that occurred.
Listen, what are you doing to me? Look at this is police brutality. I don't want to get in the car. Why do I need to get in your car?
You're under arrest.
Why am I under arrest?
You're failing to supply some details.
I've supplied you with my details, have I not? I don't want to sit in the car. Have I not supplied you with my details? You cannot arrest me for no reason. Have I not supplied you with my details?
Sit in the car.
Have I? Excuse me. Please take your hands off me. I'm complying with you. I've given you my details, have I not?
Just sit in the car.
Why?
My officer's told me to sit.
Why do I need to sit in the car? You can deal with me perfectly normally on the roadside. Are you trying to cover me up and put me in the back of a vehicle for no reason? Excuse me, you cannot do this. This is unlawful what you are doing. I've given you my details. So what more do you want? Why are you displaying your cuffs?
We're going to deal with this whether we're a fixed penalty notification or if you fail to...
Give me the fixed penalty notification, please.
To assist us with our inquiry.
I'm assisting you. I've given you my details 10 minutes ago. Why am I still stood here?
Right then. We're going to fill the ticket out then. Okay.
There you go.
Come away from the road then, 'cause you're in a dangerous position here.
Trying to grab my arm and detain me? That's assault what you've just done to me. Could I start grabbing your arm?
James strongly disputes the officer's suggestion that he had failed to provide his details, maintaining that his name and address had already been given earlier in the interaction. From his perspective, that creates an immediate question about whether the justification for escalating matters remained consistent with what had already taken place. The situation becomes more tense when handcuffs are introduced and the interaction appears to shift toward a ticket or arrest scenario. James interprets this as pressure being applied to secure compliance, particularly because he had already indicated a willingness to deal with the traffic matter itself. James also raises concerns about what obligations remain once identification has been established during a roadside encounter. The central issue here is whether continued restrictions or escalation were necessary in the circumstances, or whether the encounter had moved beyond resolving the original traffic issue.
For no reason. I've not failed to provide anything. I've got video evidence that I provided my details at the start of this conversation, sir. So you cannot put your hands on me and I will be getting you done for assault.
You also threatened to drive off, didn't you?
No, I didn't threaten to drive off. I asked if I'm being detained. If I'm not, I will drive off. Am I being detained?
You are detained.
Am I being detained? Why? You can send a ticket to me in the post. Why am I being detained? You can send a ticket to me in the post.
I cannot deal with this. We can't send a ticket in the post.
Why can't you?
We deal with by this fixed penalty notification side of the road.
Right, so why is it taking so long to write it out? Have you even started?
Stop messing about.
I've given you my details 10-15 minutes ago. I was talking to him, not you. You don't even know what you're doing. What are you doing?
I'm inspecting your vehicle.
Inspect my vehicle. The brand new tyres, idiot. And that's perfectly legal. Inspecting my vehicle. Are you a traffic officer now, are you? Are you a traffic officer now? I've just had it MOT'd, mate. If you actually used your head and got the car vehicle checked, you'd get...
James disputes the officer's claim that the matter could not be dealt with through the post, arguing that police have mechanisms available for processing certain traffic matters without requiring immediate escalation at the roadside. The disagreement here is not simply about procedure, but about whether the options being presented accurately reflected what was available. James also challenges suggestions that he might drive away, particularly because he had been actively engaging with the officers and asking questions about his legal status. From his perspective, this creates the impression that later explanations were being introduced to support actions that had already been taken. The interaction becomes more contentious when attention shifts toward a vehicle inspection. James views that change in focus as unrelated to the original issue and questions whether it was directly connected to the traffic matter being discussed.
Off-road vehicle.
Pardon?
It's notified off-road.
It's notified off-road? No, it isn't. I don't think it is. That's my Audi that's notified off-road, mate. If you check through your systems, that vehicle is not notified off-road. No, it hasn't. What's that there, mate? Can you read what that says? What date that says?
It's shown on Police National Computer as notified off-road.
How is it notified off-road when I'm showing you a tax disc? Are you here then? Hey? So are you here then? I haven't been gobbing off. I've asked him if I'm being detained. If I'm not, he's trying to detain me. I've got it all on video evidence, sir. I've already dealt with your colleague. Don't speak to me like that. Don't speak to me like that. This is the officers trying to find a law now. You had to have another officer come out to tell you that.
Because when the conduct was speaking to you and putting the details through.
In what section of law I was being detained under, he couldn't tell me.
Detection of crime.
Pardon?
Detection of an offence.
But he didn't tell me that. As an officer of law, he has to tell me that, does he not? Like you just have.
Well, it depends whether or not you've given the opportunity.
I gave him plenty of opportunity, as it will be declared on YouTube later.
The officers then raise the issue of the vehicle allegedly being SORN, which James immediately disputes by pointing to what he believes is evidence contradicting that claim. From his perspective, the concern is not simply that a mistake may have been made, but that information he considers relevant does not appear to be receiving meaningful attention. James interprets the interaction as becoming increasingly focused on preserving the earlier position taken by the officers rather than reassessing the facts as new information emerges. The key disagreement here is whether the situation was being continuously evaluated on its merits or whether assumptions had already become fixed. Additional officers then become involved, which James sees as escalating the atmosphere of the encounter. While officers may call for support for a variety of operational reasons, James views the timing as creating the impression that a disagreement over legal authority had become increasingly confrontational.
There, thank you. Do you want to apologise to me, sir, for accusing me?
No. There's no point being like that.
What? He's just found out that my vehicle's on-road, and he's telling me it's off-road.
Don't speak to my colleague like that.
Well, when he speaks to me like that, I have every right to speak in the manner that I'm now speaking in. You haven't been here for the first 5 minutes.
The motions,
I'm waiting. I've been waiting here 20 minutes. I didn't get, hello, sir, nice day. Sorry, I've got to pull you over today, but blah, blah, blah. I've explained my reasons. This is a malicious prosecution. Wait, I'm going to challenge the ticket.
You challenge it.
Yeah, so this is another waste of taxpayers' money. It's all you lot do.
Really?
Yeah. I'm dealing with £270,000 worth of claims against you guys for damages. This is how bad you are. 4 coppers to write a traffic ticket. 1 officer, 2 officer, 3 officer, 4 officers to write a traffic ticket.
To my colleague.
Excuse me, don't tell me what to do. If you're here, I have every right to speak to you.
I don't have to listen to you.
Well, don't, go away then. Go away then if you don't want me to speak to you. Why am I going to get violent because I've raised my voice at somebody who's raised their voice to me? Have you read the law on the bus lane?
What is a read the law on the bus lane?
If there is a malicious act or harm to health, a person is entitled to use that lane. If you were in front of me as I did it, I would have not come past you and I would have tried to get in. Had I seen your vehicle, would I not?
I think you're just saying that now because you've got the cards.
You receive something through the post.
Oh, I will receive something through the post now. I will receive something through the post. Yeah, even though...
The radio check confirming that the vehicle was legally registered becomes a significant moment in the encounter because it appears to contradict the earlier concern about its status. From James's perspective, that undermines the reliability of the previous assumption and raises questions about whether sufficient checks had been carried out before conclusions were reached. James is also frustrated that no apology follows the correction. He interprets that as a reluctance to acknowledge mistakes, particularly after an interaction that had already become increasingly tense. The broader issue being raised here is not simply whether an error occurred, but how officers respond when information later changes the picture. The presence of several officers dealing with what began as a traffic matter also becomes a point of criticism. James views the response as disproportionate to the nature of the issue being investigated. The discussion then returns to the legal basis for the original allegation, particularly around bus lane exemptions. James argues that if officers are enforcing specific legislation, there is a strong expectation that they understand the relevant powers, exceptions, and limitations attached to it.